we all wore a mask.
Well, the smoke was pretty bad here.
Yeah, the smoke was, and you didn't get the little crispies on you sometime walking around. It was real scary.
About 10 days it took to put the fire out, so we were still getting embers on our cars and stuff.
Tom and Kate Barker volunteer at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds RV Park in Santa Rosa. They were there when the wildfires began on October 8th.
And I was just hysterical. I'd never been around this, and I packed my little bag, and I was ready to go, and had my little puppies ready, and he went, "You're not coming."
The Sonoma County Fairgrounds RV Park currently houses the largest number of wildfire evacuees, about 25 families in all. The Barkers, who are visiting from Texas, are living and working at the park while they take care of their daughter, who was supposed to give birth at a nearby hospital in mid-October.
The hospital obviously closed. The closer it got to delivery time, they decided to find another place.
The Barkers were just one of hundreds of families affected by the closure of Sutter Santa Rosa Regional Hospital, one of two major hospitals that closed due to the wildfires. The closure resulted in a massive grassroots movement of healthcare providers from around the Bay Area to help fill in the gaps.
When the fires broke out, a group of nurse practitioners and nurses who were working at CPMC and up in the Kaiser systems, up in Santa Rosa and Sutter, organized a grassroots, sort of outreach and medical care sort of system. In California, wildfires are a common event, but I think the scope of what happened and how quickly it happened was just staggering to me. And I think the fires broke out on a Sunday night, if I remember correctly. And I remember by Monday when I woke up in the morning, just to see that large swaths of Santa Rosa were consumed by flames was just staggering.
Chang was one of 5 physicians and about 30 nurses volunteering at the Veterans Center in Petaluma 3 days after the fires broke out.
Our concern was obviously the emergency services in that region were probably compromised because of 2 hospital closures. I think our objective we set out was to make sure that we kept people stable, to try to keep them out of the emergency room setting.
Dr. Denise Connor, an internist at the San Francisco Veterans Hospital, volunteered at a makeshift Red Cross shelter in the gym of Elsie Allen High School in Santa Rosa.
You just sort of feel like you want to be able to help in some concrete way.
Dr. Connor was particularly struck by the population left in the shelter 1 week after the fires began.
So people who, had good, support networks or lots of financial resources, they were no longer in those centers. So who was left was like the frail elderly patients. There were some undocumented immigrants, it was a lot of people who didn't have access to the same kind of resources as other people would have had, and that's who was left. Because you think of everyone says, oh, well, fire doesn't care if you're rich or poor, right? But actually what happens to you in the recovery phase after a fire, that is very linked with what your resources are before the fire.
Now 1 month after the fires, the shelters at both Elsie Allen High School and the Veterans Center have closed, sending those still without homes to places like the Sonoma County Fairgrounds RV Park, where Tom and Kate Barker live and work.
Well, it's been sad. Like we say, when they check in, we've heard some really sad stories about they've lost everything.
The lady that came in today.
They had 10 minutes to get out of their house in the middle of the night, 2:30 to 3 o'clock in the morning. You hear some really sad stories, and it's really sad.
But according to the Barkers, the response from the local community has provided much-needed relief for many of those still without homes.
Donations were incredible. I mean, within 2 days, there was more stuff than you can imagine here. It looked like a little department store here. I mean, like a Target.
we
had
still have
groceries
water
and
here.
Clothes, and someone bought a freezer and put it here.
Put stuff in the freezer.
And it was just amazing.
For the Peninsula Press, this is Mark Lieber. Thanks for listening.